My, but I'll kind of talk about a topic, and my topic is the hypocrisy of Donald Trump and MAGA for 2025, and the notion of that there are actually policies that have been implemented that the vast majority of us would support, and that ties to your ICE story. But the reality is the extreme nature of the implementation is what we don't support. There was a lack of border protection and enforcement in prior administrations, and that should not have been. And that's the fault of these prior administrations, and it's really not just tied to one. You could also look at examples in each of them where they were doing things the right way, and then for whatever reason they stopped. These are somewhat complicated analysis at times, but the simplicity of it, of just doing border enforcement. But the Trump administration has, for whatever reason, whether xenophobia, race, I mean, there's so many components where there's negative and malicious motivations as part of it. The extreme nature of these ICE raids, and I think what's going to definitely come out at some point in the near future of who these people are that are committing them, conducting them, that these aren't trained federal law enforcement. These are people who never would have been able to be hired, who are, being hired on short-term contracts and probably have criminal records or
Right.
or views that you would never want anybody working for the federal government to hold. But the fact of this never-ending cycle that we need to break out of going one extreme to the next. Maybe that's the way I phrase it, because I don't want, trying not to be just anti-Trump, frankly.
Right.
But the notion of, the Democrats and the far left progressives went so far, too far with wokeism, with all sorts of issues, to such an extent that some of them that I want to criticize, I still have concerns about criticizing publicly, because I'll get attacked vehemently, unnecessarily by that portion of the population. The notion that students, Gen Zs, were supporting not the Palestinian people, but Hamas,
Right.
without understanding what that meant, without being able to make that distinction. The wokeism and entitlement of the notion that as they were doing that, I will never forget this Colombian student, Columbia University, not Columbia in South America, Columbia student, I suppose, who had taken over one of the buildings and then was complaining that she's on the meal plan and how come nobody is bringing her food because she's paid for it because she's on the meal plan.
Wokeism, I think, is probably one of the big, what are they editing out? It's a Wonderful Life now and calling it, it's all about white people and why weren't there any black people? And to me, I think wokeism is as big a danger. And maybe this is one of the, because I hear complaints and see problems with it all the time. And you're right. It's almost to the point where you can't criticize someone on the left without them deciding that you should be canceled and you're a racist, or
The
that
notion of